You guys good?
Yeah, we're good. We can start with questions, Jerry, if you want to start off.
Yes, Steve, thanks for doing this. As you know, your team has 41 turnovers the past 2 games. And I just was hoping you could give us a little more insight into how you forced that many turnovers and what's the balance, you advise your players on. You're leading the Big Ten in steals. What's the balance between, playing the passing lanes and staying with your man? How does that all work philosophy-wise for you?
Well, I mean, first, we've been turning the ball over too, so we got to eliminate that on our end. We had been really good taking care of the ball ourselves, so we got to, be really focused this next few days on us taking care of the basketball. But, I think our defense has been really connected to have 20 turnovers, and I think Northwestern averaged 10 turnovers a game to get them to 20, and then I know Michigan State does a good job taking care of the ball too. So to be able to force that means your guys are active. They're active in their gaps. We're doing a good job of surrounding the basketball, all the things that we teach. And a lot of times steals come to you if you're in the right places. So it's moving on every pass. It's being in the stance. It's using our length, which is one of our strengths. And we're just kind of in a good place. And it helps when you have a couple guys in the back that can block shots too, because it enables you to defend a little bit differently when you have a guy that can kind of make up for some of the mistakes. But they've done a good job, and I think really they've done a good job with the scouting reports, with the players that we're playing against, and doing a good job of defending each guy differently. Because every guy in this league is very different. You can't guard them all the same. So looking forward to us continuing in those areas, but we got to do a better job on us not turning the ball over ourselves.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
We'll go to Bobby and then Brian.
Steve, I wanted to ask you about Cliff. What areas do you think he's really developed on over the course of his freshman season, and what are you hoping to see out of him through the remaining games?
Yeah, I mean, really excited, about Cliff. I mean, obviously, playing the first 5 games and then missing basically 5 weeks of the season is a really tough kind of deal. And then you got to get back into the shape that you were in before you had the knee injury. But I really like he's been practicing better. He's doing a really good job of really learning our different coverages. And every big guy in this league is different that he has to face. So I think there's an adjustment with that. The other day, we played Nance, and then we played, a kid named Ryan Young. Well, Nance is a 5-man that can really shoot threes and wants to take you off the dribble. And then Ryan Young comes in. He's a true post-up guy. So you have to be able to switch your game coverages, and player coverages during the middle of the game. So I think he's really starting to understand that. He's having better practices. I think he's starting to have more confidence with his knees. He's scoring more in practices. So really excited, about him. And I've still wanted to play he and Miles together just because of the 5-week absence that's kind of hurt us being able to do that as much, too. So, excited about, Cliff and excited about his development.
Steve, it seems like over the last couple of games, you guys are mixing the defense up a little more, throwing out more zone possessions, throwing out some more presses. Is that accurate? And if so, I guess what's the philosophy behind that?
Yeah, I mean, we're getting to the free throw line more, so that's a big help with us being able to, change up things. We want to continue that. We're not fouling as much. I think that helps us to be able to change up, what we're doing. But just being connected. It's the same defenses. We still, we've had all those in our package, and it's been helping us in some areas, and then it's been hurting us in some other areas too, rebounding the ball wise and stuff like that. So depends on the games we're playing, depends on the opponent we're playing, and every team, in our league is different. So you got to be prepared and like that we have a whole package in there, depending on who and when and what our foul trouble looks like and all those other things. Those are all factors that go into it.
Go to Tom Canavan and then to Ricky.
Hey, Steve. I have 2 questions. One is an idiotic one. Why is every time your name coming up here as Michael Larkin when we do a Zoom?
Yeah, because my computer, they're actually putting scouts on my computer right now. So Mike keeps me organized, and he keeps me on top of my schedule. So that's why Mike Larkin.
And the other one is simpler. I mean, is everything back to normal now? You won 2 in a row, and we're not talking about losing streaks.
I mean, it's never normal in this league. You know, we just had a blizzard last night, as you guys know, 100 inches. Someone told me, didn't you know that was coming? And I said, no, we're out in Chicago, and we're just trying to win a basketball game in the Big Ten, in a league that's hard to win road games in. You know, so we came home for that. But nothing's normal in COVID. We have our testing here in a few minutes, and I got to go downstairs and make sure, you know, that we're good to go for today's practice. But this year, to say normal, and this year I would not say that's an accurate accounting of the season. But keep grinding. Appreciate it.
Hey, Steve, so you just mentioned the fact that you want to play Cliff and Miles a little bit more together on the court. Do you feel like that might just hinder the offense a little bit too much because most of their offensive games are just mostly in the paint and on the block? Or
No, actually, I think it'd be a great option for us. You know, the other day they were both in foul trouble, so it probably wasn't realistic. But because of practice times, too, and because, you know, Cliff missed a stretch of time, it's kind of hurt that. But again, you want to have different packages in for games, and you want to have different, you know, it may work in some games, it may not work as much in other games. But, you know, we haven't been able to, you know, work on that as much as we would like. But I like the way both those guys are playing, and got to certainly keep those guys out of foul trouble.
We'll go over to Aaron and then back to Joe.
Hey, Coach. A lot's been made of Gio Baker running the offense the last 3 games, but also Paul Mulcahy has as well. You started the game in Northwestern. He was running the offense more. So what impact has he made, and do you anticipate him being on the ball more so moving forward?
Yeah, you know, I just want us to keep passing the ball. They're doing a great job. You know, I think, you know, we have less dribbles in these games. We're moving. Paul does a great job. Whoever gets the rebound is our point guard, including Ron Harper. I love when Ron rebounds the most because Ron's terrific in transition. He makes great decisions, too. I love when Caleb rebounds. So, you know, I don't get caught up in any of that. You bring the ball up, you pass it. And, you know, but you know, Jacob Young's done a great job, too, for us, you know. And they all have their opportunities, and we got to throw the basketball into the post more, and that's what we've been kind of focused on. And, you know, again, Paul, the size that he has and the vision that he has is really, you know, really good. And the fact that we can move guys around, I think, is a real valuable thing, and we're really coming into our own, you know, with guys being moved around. They know all the positions. They know what they're supposed to do, and we're starting to get a better continuity, you know, with all that. And I think a lot of it's because we've been healthy. You know, we've been healthy. We've been able to work on our rotation. Caleb's getting better with his back. You know, Cliff's getting better with his knee. So more reps with all those different guys in different spots has helped us, you know, a great deal.
Steve, going back to the defense, do you chart deflections, and how significant of a play is that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, our length is really, really good, and we've been so active. We call it being active in our gaps, and you know, we've obviously, you know, done a really good job. But part of it's scouting report too, being able to do that. But you know, guys have made a concerted effort in our rebounding. We've out rebounded 3 teams. You know, we were getting out rebounded by a lot in the glass, and our box outs are much better. We've maintained our box outs. We've done a really good job, you know, completing, you know, the possession. We had some 30-second shot clock violations the other day where we got some really good switches. Obviously, we can block shots with our length. But yeah, we emphasize, you know, all those little things that are important on the defensive end. Our rotations have been better. You know, and teams, you know, we held a team yesterday, you know, the other day, Northwestern, to their season low for the year at home, and I think they're averaging 83 points per game at home. So, if you really want to look at what they've scored at home, and to hold them to 54 points is like and that's a really good offensive team that scores. They average 75 points, and then obviously Michigan State 37. When you're holding teams in those 50s and in those numbers, it gives you a really good chance. And your guys have to be locked in, and you have to have tips, and you got to get block shots with that. You got to have great rotations. And so, we've emphasized it a great deal. I think our guys have taken it to heart, and we've just been really much, much better, on that end of the floor. And we're playing the same guys, so we haven't changed anything like that. They're all the same guys playing just about the same minutes. So they've just become, a lot more alert and focused on that end of the floor, and it reflects on the rebounding part too.
Thanks.
Thank you.
We'll go to Bobby Darren and then Adam Zagoria after him.
Steve, you mentioned all the elements you guys have to deal with this year. Has that changed your coaching approach, not the X's and O's, but how you deal with the players on a daily basis?
I mean, it's just been such a unique year, and having never lived through any of this, learning a lot, as we go, and the guys, their lives are just, turned upside down. You come to college because you want to experience college life, and that's part of that is socializing, part of that is going to class, part of that is doing projects together, part of that's going to social events together, there's none of that. The only time they have their mask off is when they're at practice, so it's just very, very different, and try to make it fun. And we try to do some different things. Like I said, I think we were trying to get the guys out bowling the other day, but that is like one of the hardest things in the world to do with a group. To do anything outside of basketball is just really difficult. And I think about that a lot. And our guys have been here since June too, so other seasons, other college seasons are short, like 3 months, 4 months. I mean, this is a long grind for them. But I'm blessed. We got really good health protocols here. Our doctors have been great, and our guys really they get all the credit. They've been unbelievable with the protocol and all the things that they have to do. And then when you factor in all the other pressures that they have, at this time, and in the world that we're living in, just a lot of credit to them, and that they've been able to do that. But we try to watch film independently now. It's just everything's different. Everything takes longer. Everything is separating the team every time we're doing scouts. Every time but we're supposed to be a team all the time. But yet the only time we can really be together as a group is when they're in the practice camp. So, very different, challenging.
We'll go to Zagoria.
Hey, Steve, how you doing? Hope you're doing well.
Good. How you doing?
Good. Just with Jaden Jones, how is he adjusting in practice? What are the hardest adjustments for him he has to make, and how do you envision maybe using him going forward?
He's been great. I mean, I think he's had a total, because we're right in the middle of the season, I mean, maybe 8 practices. So it's really hard. We're kind of in game mode and prep for games, and we're trying to get him to know our baseline, defense, and he's taking classes for the first time. He's lifting weights, all those things. He's a great kid. He works hard. We have 21 out of bounds plays, so when you get thrown into the middle of the season with 21 just out of bounds plays, it's just hard. So he keeps working. He's a great kid. He's going to really help us. He's a big part of our future.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Go back to Tom Canavan and then Richie.
I didn't have a question. I'm sorry.
Go to Richie.
Steve, you mentioned before some of the unique big men that you guys had to go up against so far. Can you talk a little bit about this week's matchup versus Robin, since he's not only the conference's shot blocker per game, but he's also shooting, I think, 38 from 3?
Yeah. I mean, here's another big guy now that comes into our league that, 7 feet, 7'1", leading the league in block shots, but can also step away from the basket and really looks good shooting the ball, from deep. And I think the depth of the front courts in this league and the variety of the big guys, and that they could do a lot of different things. It's just really been unbelievable. Minnesota is awesome. I mean, their program, Coach Pitino does a great job. They have one of the elite guards in the country, Marcus Carr, and then they have one of the elite big guys in the country, and Robinson. So really unique challenge too. Whenever you have a point guard that can kind of score 20 and get 15 assists if he, and leads them just about in every category. And then they have a big guy up front that draws a lot of fouls. At one point in time, they were leading the nation in free throw attempts and free throws made. So really challenging. Our bigs have to be, ready and have to be able to defend, Robins without fouling, but you have to be able to defend them in the paint, and then you got to step out to three. Makes it really challenging for bigs when you have to do both. So we got our work cut out for us, but it's like every game. It's Travion Williams, it's Kofi Coburn, it's Luka Garza, it's Robbins. I mean, some guys have one or two bigs in a league that can really play this league. Every single team has experienced, really good bigs, and obviously they got an elite point guard too. So that makes it really tough when both corners of your program are elite level.